for your SaaS business in 3 months or less without breaking the bank, all organically. So this is an extremely important topic that a lot of people are excited to talk about, and how to rank for high intent keywords. And at the end of the video, we're also going to talk about a free checklist that you can download. And I'm your host, Rahul, growth manager at FPG. And we have Pushkar here, who has been the SEO manager for FPG for the last couple of years, and he has been in the SEO business for more than 15 years. So he has exclusively worked on product companies in the beginning, and then slowly he transitioned over to service-based companies. So he has firsthand seen the evolution of the SaaS companies from purely product-led growth to basically SaaS sales-led growth. So Pushkar, excited to have you here and excited to talk to you.
Same here, Rahul. I'm also excited and excited to talk about how we can amplify growth for SaaS companies, and I'm all yours.
Awesome. So a lot of people are interested in learning more about SEO, and they want to know how critical is SEO in order for them to drive more traffic to their website. What would you say to that?
So are we talking specifically about SaaS, right?
Yeah, for SaaS companies.
So in the recent surveys shared by Conductor, one of the premium, enterprise app solution for SEO, they have highlighted that organic traffic primarily for SaaS contributes about 33%, right? All the SaaS companies rely mostly on paid referral direct traffic, but 30% is not a small number, right? So it has substantial contribution towards traffic and in conversions. So yes, definitely critical to SaaS in terms of, getting the traffic which is converting.
Awesome. And what would you say are the most primary obstacles that SaaS companies face when it comes to driving more traffic to the website? Especially if it's, let's say, a new SaaS company that's trying to establish itself. So what would be the recommendation in order to overcome those obstacles they face?
So with my experience, Rahul, I've seen that mostly when any SaaS company tries to design a marketing website other than the solution domain, they have a confusion about content strategy. That's the major obstacle or the confusion that I've seen in developing a website. They design a website having, let's say, a home page, product pages or features about the product, but overall the content strategy is missing. So website needs a proper content strategy wherein proper keyword research needs to be done. Once a keyword research has been done, separate your group of keywords in different stages of a customer journey. So you have top of the funnel, which is like informational keywords. You can keep them separate. Then you have middle of the funnel, which is more of navigational or comparison kind of keywords. You can keep them separate. And then you have transactional or bottom of the funnel keywords, which we want to work on. And then you can create your strategy around those group of keywords, right? Okay, we want to work on this, we want to work on this, or at what stage we'll introduce top of the funnel, at what stage we will introduce middle of the funnel. Primarily, people should start from the transactional and bottom of the funnel keywords, but primarily working with or creating a strategy which is revolving around your transactional and proper content, robust content strategy. I think it's the game changer.
Understood. And is that because transactional keywords are a lot more harder to rank for?
No. So when you say long tail keywords, the more it becomes more phrase specific, it becomes easier to rank for them. When we go for more shorter versions, short tail, or generally when we say keywords having no clear intent or traditional, or let's say people have been putting those keywords as industry norms or something which denotes the industry, those keywords are more difficult to rank for. So we should plan a strategy for them separately, but we should focus on the keywords which are easier to rank and brings conversions.
Awesome. And so when it comes to driving rapid growth, a big question that a lot of people have is basically, what are the foundational SEO practices that a SaaS company needs to be aware of before actually implementing its SEO strategy?
At FP Growth, we have divided our SEO into 3 pillars. So first is relevancy, which generally people refer as on page. How relevant your page is, how relevant your content is to the search term. Then the second pillar is health of your website. Generally people again related to on page, but technical SEO and crawl behavior of the site. So this helps in improving your crawl budgets, how fast your content is getting indexed, what is the site structure. So the health is extremely important. The third and most important part is authority of the site, which is generally people refer that as authority. So third pillar is authority. Now, if you go on and work on these things, you work on your relevancy, you try to improve your technical health, and then you work on authority. It takes time to develop. So it depends on what stage your site is in right now. Has the site has enough relevancy in it? Has the site has enough authority in it? Based on that, we can devise a strategy. strategy. Now, coming to driving rapid growth to a site which is substantially old, let's say a 2-year-old website, 3-year-old website, which has been around for some time and has not been getting traffic because of the blocker that is mostly I've seen with the SaaS websites as the content strategy. I think people should focus on developing a robust content strategy revolving around creating topical authority. Now, it's kind of a thing which I relate to something of a World War II strategy used by Germans called Blitzkrieg, where they focused on one point and penetrated and entered into the enemy territory. We are not going to do any kind of enemy destroying thing. What we are going to do is focus on one topic, which is more of transactional, which helps you in conversions, and focus and develop topical authority around it. If you are focusing on, let's say, apple as a fruit, do you have everything related to apple as a fruit in your content on your website? So make sure you have the clusters around your main pillar page as clusters. So the basic thing is identify your pillar page. Identify your topic and then start creating clusters around it. Now, how fast you can do it, how soon you can develop that cluster can help you in ranking fast. I think that's the strategy, people can focus on.
Awesome. And when it comes to, creating authority, it seems like creating a lot of content that addresses a lot of the questions that people are asking specific to that particular niche where you're operating. That seems to be a strategy that really works. Is that kind of accurate?
It has a lot of nuances to it. Authority is something that how much other websites are talking about your brand, how much brand mentions you have, how many backlinks high authority websites are pointing to you. But apart from that, the trust is also a factor. Now, Google has introduced something called EEAT, which stands for experience, expertise, authority, and trust. You can work on experience, which means your author, the content writer, has experience to write this stuff, has expertise in it. Your website has authority through brand mentions and backlinks. But trust is most important factor. If you don't develop the trust for your website, now how can you develop trust? Trust has several aspects to it. How many reviews your website has? What exactly other sites are telling about your website, right? So those are the things. Trust has so many other things. For example, if you're on an e-commerce site, the product is, let's say, out of stock. You have a schema markup, but that tells that, product is in stock. That is not going to develop the trust. So if the product not in stock, the schema should also replicate that, right? So trust is an extremely important factor in terms of authority and improving the site content in SERPs.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think credibility speaks a lot about a brand's value in the marketplace. So that brings me to the next question. So again, these questions are accumulated from the Q&A that we sent out through a newsletter. And a lot of these questions were pretty popular among the people who voted. So the next question was, so let's say I'm a business SaaS owner, right? So how can I identify some of the most easy to win keywords for which I can bid or create a content strategy around and basically start ranking as soon as possible? So for a SaaS business, how would that work?
Okay. Generally, keyword research, people tend to go to Google Ads keyword planner and try to absorb everything what it throws towards you. Then people use tools like Ahrefs, SEMrush, Keywords Anywhere, similar kind of tools. I think the brand owners must focus on the keywords in terms of the pain point that their users might be having. For example, if you have a product that solves keyword research as a problem, or what exactly your targeted audience would be or your user would be having. Clustering is a big problem. So does your product solve keyword clustering? Can it cluster the keywords according to the thematic grouping? If you have that as a keyword, it's easier to rank for that because your competition may or may not be having that as a feature. So that's an easy win. If you focus on the pain points, if you focus on your USPs, right, as keyword, phrase, as search terms, I think it makes easier for the website to rank for those keywords.
I think SEO in that sense is pretty similar to sales. In a sense, because I've been in sales for a long time. So what you do specifically in sales is not necessarily show all the features that you have, but the problem that your product actually solves for your customers, So one thing that I learned from one of my mentors was never sell features, always sell value, So which I think is pretty true. But next question, so what do you think an effective 3-month SEO strategy kind of looks like for a SaaS company? So what are the things that would be included in that 3-month strategy for you?
I think it starts from the in-depth keyword research, identifying your pillar pages, and then planning your clusters around those pillar pages. That should be the most go-to strategy immediately. And try to see how much of content or how much of topical authority you can develop within 3 months. It's a huge task, but if achieved, will bring success. It's not about backlinks. You can continue to develop backlinks because some of your keywords might be competing, so you need backlinks. But apart from that, do you have the topical authority? Because let's say you focus on one keyword for one page. Do you think you are ranking only for that one keyword? No. You're ranking for thousands of keywords. If you combine that volume, you have good search volume and SERP exposure. So try to enable not only the SERP through organic, but also search snippets. So include all type of questions that you can think. Try to include all type of follow-up questions around those those questions, and C, you are able to develop that topical authority for your targeted keyword or your topic within that time frame. If you can do that in 1 month, you're good. But at least see how fast you can achieve that.
Awesome. And I think a follow-up question to that would be, a lot of people might be asking, hey Pushkar, it seems like there's a lot of work to be done in order for me to rank for those keywords in a 2 to 3 month time period. So a natural question would be, what should be the size of my SEO team? Should I be investing in 3 people, 4 people, 5 people? So can you just shed some light on that?
It depends on the amount of topic and amount of clusters that you may need to develop. If you have in-house team who's competent enough, has subject matter expertise, obviously people should be writing who have subject matter expertise, writing about the topic. So let's say you have a pillar page which needs 120 topics, or let's say 100 topics. If they can achieve it, that's fine. But if you need more people, obviously people can outsource or find subject matter experts or elsewhere as well. So it depends what exactly you're trying to achieve. There are always options to outsource things and seek expertise from people like us also.
That brings me to the next question. So you spoke briefly about, acquiring backlinks. So I think a lot of people watching this will be curious to know, what does a very good backlink acquisition strategy look like? So what are the things people need to do that can help them acquire backlinks, but in a very strategic and cost-effective manner?
Okay. See, I've been an advocate of most organic way of generating backlinks. So I divide backlinks into two categories. A is active way and another is a passive way. So active way would be you develop relationship with the contextual website. So if you have a website which deals in, let's say, pets, or you have developed some sort of solution for pets, SaaS solution. So you should be seeking out and developing relationship with the authors who have been writing on pets. So try to develop relationship with them and actively seek, collaboration with them. That's active backlink strategy. The other is passive. You develop such a topic, you work on such content that becomes an evergreen content, and people like to link to that topic, right? Kind of a survey which has a lot of details in it. People want to refer that as a source of truth. That becomes your linkable asset. So people should work on active and as well as passive. But obviously you can't do passive and wait for it. So you have to have the active backlinking strategy in place as well.
And what does that look like? So do you have to reach out to a lot of people via email or phone calls? So can you shed some light on the strategy that is being deployed by your team?
Nowadays outreach mostly people are doing, but I suggest not only outreach but being active on social media as well helps. Being active on Twitter and LinkedIn and interacting with people, engaging with similar contextual website owners as well helps a lot. Participating in Facebook groups, and nowadays there are a lot of Slack channels as well, like SEO Guru and other Slack channels. So you can participate in those Slack channels as well.
Yeah. I think those are very new kind of ways in which people can actually reach out for backlinks, because the traditional way has always been email and phone calls, right? So
it works, but those also works as well. So you need more options always.
Yeah. Innovation is always the key. That's the mantra at FPG, So the next question that I have, some technical SEO best practices. So could you share some of the SEO best practices that you have that would be optimal for a company to deploy in order to rank and make sure that the website is completely optimized?
There are a lot of technical SEO things which I think if we look at the future, we are looking towards generative AI going to be introduced soon. What we need to focus on is two aspects. One is schema markups and the other is prompt engineering. So schema markup is extremely important because when we describe a page through schema markup, it becomes important that how well we are providing that information as a data set to the crawler. In future, whatever you are providing right now will help you rank in the generative AI as well. Okay, so it becomes imperative that we focus on schema markup because that's going to provide data set to the crawlers, even for machine learning as well. So we must focus on schema markup. That's extremely important. Second is prompt engineering. How well we can use prompts for enhancing our technical SEO. How well we can use prompt engineering to automate certain things within the SEO framework. I think these are the two most important factors moving forward, as well as, keeping SEO like extremely valid or important traffic source. So these two things I think are really important.
Yeah. Do you think SEO is going to continue to be a top tier source for people to get traffic in the future as well? Because obviously there has been an overwhelming rise in PPC and other channels of marketing. So what do you think about the future of SEO in that regard?
So I generally draw a flowchart trying to understand that. So I say if search engines are going to be there or not. So if say no, then SEO is gone. But search engine will always be there, right? So yes, so SEO will be there. Are people going to search for things? No, then SEO is gone. So it's pretty organic. Search engines will be there. People are going to be searching for things, and are we going to have the innovative ways to be ranking for those rankings? So SEO will always be a vital organic or a traffic contributor.
Absolutely. And what would you say would be the most important metrics to look at when it comes to measuring the success of your SEO campaigns? Would it be traffic?
I think now the SEOs must move away from the traditional metrics. We have been looking at the keyword rankings, we have been looking at the traffic. I think we now must move on towards MQL. We must see that how many transactional keywords have brought MQLs. What exactly is happening to our transactional keywords? Have they been able to contribute towards the traffic? Not only traffic, how many of them are able to contribute towards the conversions? So this is extremely important. Plus, we must now look towards SEO in terms of how much of ROI they are able to provide. Are we getting the return on investment with our investment in SEO? Because we make investment on content in the three pillars that I mentioned earlier, in relevancy, in health, and in authority. So we spend money there. So are we getting the ROI because of the money and the time that resources we spend or we use? ROI calculation plus the MQLs, I think they are important metrics, I think people should be using.
Yeah, I think that leads to a very interesting question, because for SaaS companies, at least from a marketing perspective, MQLs is all that they care about. It's one thing to bring your leads or your prospects to your website, but how do you make sure that through SEO, when the leads come to your website, they actually convert into lead and not just be traffic? So what are the things that people can do on the website end?
I think it's not about SEO. I think SEO brings the traffic. Now it happens it depends mostly on the website.
The optimization and
so how good experience your visitor is having by visiting your page, whether it's on mobile. Now mobile is extremely important. What is the mobile experience they're having? It's the difference between click and tap. You click on desktop but you tap on mobile. So make sure your buttons are clickable on desktop and tappable on your mobile. It must be designed in that way. It should have the CRO concepts kicking in. You should understand what is your target audience. If your target audience is let's say women, right, ladies, right, but your website is totally dark gray colored and it's not visually good for the woman. So make sure your website has that aspects covered, provides better experience. I think that's all will help.
Yeah, I think this is why it's important for marketeers to know a little bit of psychology as well. Because if you don't understand psychology, you don't understand human beings. So yeah, and that's very critical to understand if you want to sell anything. And that actually brings me to the next question, because a lot of people were concerned they have to constantly be updated with this changes in Google algorithms. So can you shed some light on that? Because Google kind of updates its algorithms every year. So how do you keep on top of all the changes that's happening in this particular industry?
There are a lot of unknown updates which happens every day as well, but the ones which Google inform are available on Google search status dashboard, which is available on Google's website. So one who wants to be updated or keep on trying to see what all updates have been Google has introduced in the algorithm, you can always visit that dashboard and can read about that update, what exactly is if it is product review update or helpful content update, you can just go there and read about those updates. And then you have Twitter and the other social media channels to understand what people are saying about that, what the top SEO industry leaders are saying about those updates. So a lot of times there will be a lot of unconfirmed reports around social media, but to have the official status or official information from Google, you should always visit Google search status dashboard.
Understood. So let me ask you this, as a follow-up to this. So obviously Google recently changed its algorithms. I think the update came out recently. So how has it impacted your strategy when it comes to you executing on your clients' projects?
So recently Google, in terms of content, they released an update called helpful content update, which again extremely put great strength on having the content quality. So what people have been doing, like content syndication, that strategy has been prevalent, in past. People posting same content on different multiple sites, thinking that this content will be ranking not here, at least will be ranking on other side. But Google may or may not index the content, right? It may not index the content which is on your site, but may index something which is on an external site. What you are missing on is the traffic which is not coming to your site or coming to your article, but people are not coming to your site for the conversion or looking for the solution. So you're losing a lot on traffic. You may be getting traffic on other sites. So it's all about the EAT. EAT again becomes really imperative, where you focus on the experience of the author, expertise of the author, and then developing the trust. And it's not about the blogs, it's about the entire, your pillar pages must also be adhering to the EAT factors. So I think helpful content update helped us to focus more on the content quality. We are more focused on developing content which is better than the other pages ranking and has better experience and better readability.
Yeah. I think a follow-up question to that would be, so when it comes to picking particular topics, so obviously any specific niche will have a lot of topics to write about. So how do you prioritize that these are the 4 topics that we're going to be covering this month, and next month we're going to be covering something else? So what kind of strategy do you have to deploy when it comes to picking topics that for which you're going to be writing articles about?
So Rahul, again, this goes back to the same strategy where we focus on the bottom of the funnel keywords. They always rule the chart. So the priority is always towards them. And the strategy that we use, how fast we can write and publish it. So it's all about, we have let's say 60 topics. We see if we can achieve all 60 within the time frame or not. So anything which is like spills over, we try to cover them in the subsequent months or days or weeks. But the focus is always like how fast we can produce content and with subject matter experts and publish it as soon as possible.
I think a follow-up question to that would be, so are there any downsides to being extremely aggressive when it comes to SEO? For example, let's say rather than spacing out your blogs, 4 blogs at a month in a time, to writing 60 blogs in a month. And I'm not saying that you're compromising on the quality of the blogs. The quality of the blogs are pretty consistent. So are there any downsides to populating the internet with that much content, or is it completely fine?
No, there is no downside for that. Basically, what will happen, even if let's say in 3 months we are not able to rank all of them, right? There will be some content which may or may not work, right? We can prune them. We can again come up with new strategy and new revised content and keep on, filling the gap. So I don't think there is any cons in it.
All right, Pushkar, I think I've pretty much arrived at the end of the questions. I want to thank you a lot for sharing the valuable advice. Thank you everyone for watching this webinar, and for the checklist, you can go to the link in the description. It will have all the details that you need to grow your SaaS business in 2023, completely up to date with all the recent changes in Google algorithms, and I'm sure you're gonna have a fun time reading through it. Guys, so if you like the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. If your question was not answered in this webinar, please leave a comment in this video or comment on the live chat, or send us an email in here, and we'll be very much making sure that we get back to you as soon as possible, and hope you enjoyed the video.